What's up? What's up? What's up? Assalamu alaikum. What's going on? What's up with y'all? It's been a minute. Back. Want to welcome y'all to the brand new Mansa channel. Going live every day, and this particular show is going to be a dope one. This is the Impact Zone. This is where I'm interviewing young, old, whatever, up and coming entrepreneurs, people that are really having an impact. And right now, I got my guy. You know what I'm saying? My dude, Noah Nuru. You know what I'm saying? This brother done did some big things. Young brother too. You know what I'm saying? Done non-emergency medical transportation business, millions. This is a brother y'all definitely want to get some game from that really put some work in. So without further ado, I want to introduce you, you know what I'm saying? And let the people know, man, what's up with you, man? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Like,
Absolutely. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate the introduction. I mean, what do they want to know? This is your people. I'm just introducing myself. So let me know what they
well,
want
for
to know. I mean, there's a
starters,
lot. There's a lot to unpack.
for sure. So for starters, how old are you?
33, man. 33.
33. So when did you
Yeah.
decide to start your business?
So I decided, really it was something that I had in mind from the jump, man. A lot of it was predicated on my dad working
Mm,
a lot, working a lot of hours. So
mm,
I knew that I never wanted to work for somebody. So
mm,
that seed has always been planted inside of me since I was young. And then it was just a matter of the opportunity presenting itself. So when it
mm,
presented itself, I was about 24, 23, 24.
mm.
Um, and that's kind of when I did the NEMT, non-emergency medical transportation. And that was just the beginning of entrepreneurship. That was the beginning of becoming a man,
Mm,
business-wise. Absolutely.
mm. So what is the non-emergency medical transportation business? What is that?
So it's essentially giving transportation services to the elderly and those that are in need. In terms of wheelchair services, you take them to and from doctor appointments. You provide them with the support that they need in terms of wheelchair, ambulatory, and so forth. So someone that needs services, but it's not an emergency. So they don't need to call 911. They
Mm.
call us, set up an appointment, and then we take them.
You know what's interesting about that? The rapper Pusha T, I had saw something where he
Yeah,
got into the business, and I'm like, yo,
yeah.
that sound interesting. So wow, so okay, so let me ask you this: is that a difficult business to get into? Because interesting thing is healthcare is probably the largest industry in America. You know what I'm saying? It's a I don't know if I can't really recall if it's the largest, but it's got to be one of the
Probably.
largest.
It's up there. It's
It's
up
up
there.
there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it has to be a lot of money in that. So how did you get started in that? Like,
So my parents started it in '08. So they
mm,
started it in California. And so that's kind of when I got introduced to the game and started just watching them. In terms of if it's easy to get into, it's very easy to get into, but it's very difficult to become successful in.
mm,
So
mm,
it's
mm,
and the reason for that is because there's different systems of making money, right? You got the brokers, and then you got the private pay, and then you got your own creating your own avenue of income. So a
mm,
lot of people that get stuck into the broker system where they're relying on somebody to give them trips, and you end up in a you end up in the rat race. And so
mm,
that's where a lot of people fall into and they become victims of, and you end up just becoming a slave of your own job. So
mm,
in order to succeed, you got to be proactive. And so that's where you got to build your own clientele, sales, marketing, all that. So
mm,
easy to get into, but in
mm,
order to actually be successful, like in everything else, you got to put in the work and really, take ownership.
mm. So you was able to scale it. You was pretty much
Absolutely.
able to scale it. Wow. So what was the mechanics in you being able to scale that business? I mean, you don't have to go into too much detail.
Yeah,
We gotta
yeah,
save that for the course. You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Real
yeah, yeah,
quick, make
yeah.
sure y'all visit, NoahNaru.com and get some game. You know what I'm saying? Make
Yeah.
sure y'all visit
So
the website.
I appreciate that, man. So a lot of it was, again, learning from my dad and how he ran his business. Because a lot of times before you go into a business, you got to have a vision. You got to have clarity in where you're going. You got to have a step, like a clear plan. And so for me, business has always been about freedom. So I never wanted to get into a business just to work for the business and work
Mm,
16, 17 hours, right? That's never been my MO. I've always wanted to cultivate a business where I work minimum hours, and to me that was the greatest success, is making millions of dollars a year but working less than 2 hours a day. Right. That to me was like the sweet and butter of it, right? So it was all about creating systems, man. Automation, delegation, and then outsourcing. So those were like the three biggest factors that played into running a company.
Could you repeat that? Repeat that.
Automation. So automation, creating systems and then using technology to put them in place. Delegation, creating the SOPs and then hiring people to take over those SOPs. And then the thing that allows you to flourish and fuel your company is the outsourcing. I don't hire people in America.
Oh, hold on.
That's not, that.
Oh, you done sparked the nerve right there. We're gonna get into that part. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm on the team Vivek. I don't give, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a damn, bro. Like, you outsource, you want to make the most out of your money. You want your money to go the furthest. And so I created a team in the Philippines of like 20 plus people that handled all of my day-to-day operations, and I'm paying them $3 an hour. Why would I mess with that? Because people here aren't happy about it. You know what I mean? Because they not. So like I outsource. So I create the automation utilizing AI technology, and then I delegate, I create the system, and then I outsource it to the Philippines. And then it's just rinse and repeat. From there, you're just refining it. You're just doing maintenance.
So you kind of mastered the concept that a lot of entrepreneurs try to get to, where you're supposed to work on the business, not in the business. You know what I'm saying,
bro?
And that's what allows you to scale to millions, pretty much.
100%, bro. Like a lot of people got entrepreneurship backwards, man. A lot of people just leave the job to work for another job that they got a name on, but they work in more hours. You know what I mean? They put in more work, more stress, more. For me, it's all about peace of mind. So I create a company that's established that doesn't need me. A lot of entrepreneurs want to feel this validation of worth that their business needs them, and that's the last thing you want. You want to create a business that doesn't need you unless it wants to grow, right? So you only pour into the company when it's time to grow and scale up. But as a CEO and founder, your main objective is to grow as a human being. Like, you should be invested in yourself. You should be learning. You should be, testing out new products, new ideas, because your business is a reflection of you. And if you're not growing as a human being, if you're not growing intellectually, spiritually, in your faith, then your business is going to reflect that. So you have to put time into developing yourself, creating that network, and then that's what you put into the company. And then that's where you see it flourish. Like, you see a lot of these CEOs, right? Amazon, these are billion-dollar companies, and these guys are not working more than 2-3 hours a day on it, right? They're ideas. And then they create a system where the idea becomes a reality. And that idea stems from you developing yourself, right? So that's where the bread and butter is, because that's what's going to set you apart from everybody else. Everything else can be outsourced and delegated. The only thing you should be doing best is creating the ideas. And so that's where I thrive. That's always been my objective in any business I create.
No, that's excellent, because it also reminds me of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, where he talks about, you start on one side of the quadrant, which is the left side, right? And the left side, you have your employed and self-employed. Because when you're self-employed, you still have a job. It's just you're working the job. You're employing yourself, right? But on the other side is business ownership and investing. And in business ownership, you own a system, and the system operates without you.
100%.
And it sounds like that's the part that you were able to master. What type of mentality and mindset? Hold on, I'm gonna back up though, because you're embodying a lot of different significant principles, right? That anybody who's been into self-help and entrepreneurship and downloading and digesting that type of information. Even Bill Gates said he looks for the laziest person to do the job, because the laziest. That's what I was just about to say, because he said the laziest person is going to find the easiest way to get the job done. You see what I'm saying?
There's no better time than now. Look at AI. There's no better time to be a lazy human being than right now.
Facts, 100%. So what was the mindset? How were you able to develop that mindset, to have the discipline to see that all the way through? You know what I mean? Because regardless of if you don't like to do a lot of work, or if you don't want to actually work in the business, it still is a lot of mind capacity that it takes to accomplish what you've accomplished.
Yeah. No, I mean, first and foremost, obviously, I've been blessed, man. You know, God has instilled
Alhamdulillah.
that in me, that
Mm-hmm.
desire. But for me, it's always been about balance. Because I
Mm,
always, and this is kind of what my book is about, is living a life in the day that's balanced, right? So business and making money has never been important to me, right?
mm,
It's about community, it's about family, it's about legacy, it's about having all that into a day. And so I've always had that belief in my system of like, I can do this in a way that doesn't require all of my time. And so the growth mindset, I mean, everyone talks about the growth mindset and just it's just reading. I mean, reading, because reading makes you aware, right? Knowledge is knowing, and when you know better, you become aware. And so when you read more, you become more aware of possibility. And so
mm,
Daniel Carnegie talks about this in Think and Grow Rich,
mm,
and I think Ty Lopez also. I've seen this in a clip where Daniel Carnegie, he worked and he made like $5-10 million, right? And he realized making money is not that it's not that great if you don't have the time to enjoy it. And so he made a promise. He said, "I'll never work more than 2 hours a day," because all you have is really the day, right? And
mm,
how you live your day is how it is going to translate in your life. So for
mm,
me, it's always been about having blocks of time throughout my day so that I can master it. And then human beings, we're just we're incredible, man. So when you
mm,
say I'm only gonna work 2 hours a day, but I'm gonna make millions, you can
mm,
make it happen, right?
mm,
It's just about faith. That's why the faith is the foundation. Because as you create faith and build your faith, you start to see what's possible. And without that, and that's where the growth happens. Is believing first, being able to see it, having the clarity, and then the challenge of making it happen. And so for
mm,
me, I saw it, I had the faith in it, and then it's just been a process of a personal development.
mm,
That's my sole purpose in life is like developing, and part of that is rooted in wealth. It's rooted in children. You know what I mean? It's an approach that it's integrated in every aspect of my life.
mm. Oh, that's amazing. And you know what's interesting about what you're saying too is that I was doing some research a while ago, and I stumbled across some information that said the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam
Peace be
and
upon him.
the companions, they only worked 3 hours a day.
Yeah, man.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? They weren't
yeah,
running around. And
yeah,
then when you read the stories, you're like, yo, they were able to accomplish so much, but they only worked 3 hours a day.
yeah.
You
Nah,
know what I'm
man.
saying?
You taking away. Yeah. No, that's what the book is, though. The book is the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him,
Mm.
because
Peace be upon
it's
him.
about aligning your day in
Hold
the
on. You said a book. Hold on. Break that down.
Yeah,
What book is
yeah,
this,
yeah.
man? Put us
So
on. What book is
I'm
this?
finishing up a book, man. It's called Living in Flow. So
Mm.
it's about the intentionality of the day and understanding that Allah made the day specific to cater to your life. And so every part of your day was designed for a specific purpose, right? As Muslims, we have tahajjud, which is divine. That's where your visions come. That's where your clarity comes. You have fajr, which is aligned with your faith. That's where you grow and you become clear. And then you have Ishraq, which is where the business and the money comes. Like the Prophet, peace be upon him, he made a dua. He
Peace
said,
be
put
upon him.
barakah in the morning.
That's right.
Barakah is
That's
a
right.
real thing. And
Yeah,
so in the
facts.
mornings, a lot of these, modern day, successful figures, they say what? All the deep work happens in the morning.
Yep.
Anyone that's successful knows the first couple hours in the morning is deep work.
Yep.
That's where you have clarity. That's where you have focus, and you're tackling it. And to me, that's all I need to make millions, right?
Mm.
2 hours of quiet time. I've already prepared the night before, and then I'm getting into it. And then like you create the value. And so then it just becomes a progression of like what else the other day has. But I break it all down, man. It's all labeled through prayers. I mean, you have
Mm.
Dhuhr, which is community, which is what we're doing now, connection.
Mm.
And
Mm.
these are all established. You have Asr, which is when you spend time with your loved ones, the intimacy. And then you have family time after Maghrib. And then Isha is when you isolate. You
Mm.
reflect on the day, you get yourself together. And then it's possible, for me, I'm not trying to get philosophical, but death plays a huge role in how I create my day. Because when you make death your anchor, you start to really focus on what matters. And so a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we focus on busy work. You know what I mean? We try to get a lot done. It feels good. It's like, but you're not really going nowhere. But when you like, yo, this might be my last day on earth, you said it right. You focus on the things that really need to matter, and you're doing it with quality, and you're saying no to everything else. Because you know, if this is my last day, you start to the bullshit just goes away naturally, right? And that's in relationships, that's in your network, that's in every aspect of life. Death puts
Mm.
things into perspective. And the prophet, right, peace be upon him,
Peace
said,
be
remember
upon him.
death to
Mm.
destroy your pleasures, right? Because
Mm.
it detaches you from emotional decisions. It
Mm.
detaches you from making irrational decisions. And as entrepreneurs, we have to have clarity at all times because
Mm.
that's where we grow. That's where we become something more.
You know what's interesting about you saying that is I saw a video of Cat Williams recently, and Cat Williams offered some advice, and he said if he could tell people one thing that will change their lives dramatically, it would be to live every day like it's your last day. That when you
Wow.
go to bed at night, you say, hey, this is
Yeah,
it. This
bro.
could be it. I
Listen,
might not wake up tomorrow. And it
listen.
will put you in the mindset of
Yeah, bro.
exactly everything you just said.
100%.
Yeah.
And again, the prophet, peace be upon him, everything
Peace
I'm
be
saying
upon
is
them.
rooted in the hadith.
Yeah.
He
Mm-hmm.
said, live the mornings as if you don't, and I'm butchering it, but paraphrasing, he said, live your mornings as if you won't see the evening, and
Mm,
live your evenings as if you won't see the morning. So
mm,
that really prioritizes faith. It allows you to detach from results, right? You focus on effort,
mm,
consistency, putting in your best foot forward. And because
mm.
ultimately, you don't want to be tied to the success, because then that's
Right.
another rabbit hole. But like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100%, man. Death is like, and you see it in society. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
living like they're not going to die. And then you see the results of it, right? You see the
Mm-hmm.
lack of priorities. But it's also, yeah, so that 100%, man. Cat Williams is a wise guy. I mean,
Yeah,
we,
no,
we
well,
learned
definitely.
that. We learned
Definitely.
that in the beginning of last year.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, for sure. I mean, the powerful thing about what you're saying is that was one of the things that really made me say I have to convert to Islam or revert to Islam over 10 years ago, probably about 15 to 17 years ago. And the interesting thing about it is I had did a deep dive into every ancient mystery system, everything, man, till I had no more questions about what happened, who it happened to, how I had no more questions.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I was like, yo, the one true religion has to be the religion that shows you how to master your day to day. That is the hardest thing to do while you're living. All this other stuff, it doesn't matter. How can you master your day to day? And I
Yeah.
found that in Islam. So all of the things you're saying is, and even if you're not Muslim, if you're one of my followers and you're listening, you're tuned in, and you're not necessarily Muslim, just taking the principles. If you look at
Exposure.
all of the self-help books that people are reading these days about manifesting, all of those principles are found in Islam, like getting up before the sun is up.
Scar, man.
Everything you just said.
A scar is affirmations. You know what I
There
mean?
you
Like
go.
it's
There you go.
all there, man. It's
You know
all
what
in
I'm
this.
saying?
Like you said, it's the principles of the day, and that's why I wrote this book in a way that embodies the principles, right? Like I
Mm,
want this book to be universal because it's applicable.
mhm,
When we're
mhm.
talking about truth, it's not just reserved for Islam. Truth is truth,
Right,
and it's applicable to
right,
everyone, and that's
right,
what makes it the truth, right? So,
right.
100%, man. The Sunnah and the
Mhm,
blueprint, and that's how I felt as well. It's like, look, everything we get in life comes with a manuscript, comes with like a way of understanding how it works. And
mhm.
why would it be any different when it comes to our lives? And so the Sunnah
100%.
just is like, it makes the most sense, you know? So for me, that's 100% accurate.
No, 100%, man. So before we shift gears though, I want you to let people know where they can get in touch with you, where they can get more of your info. I know I've put your website up, of course, but just what are some of the things that you like, because we know now that you only work 2 hours a day and you got the
Yeah.
rest of your time. So what other things are you offering people, with your
Yeah.
with your time and efforts, and what things do you have in store that you're offering?
Yeah, so the Nebi Collective is the website you talked about, noahnuru.com, and that's a community that's centered around purpose, success, balance, and really just um, cultivating a mindset of abundance and
Mm,
realizing that your day, mastering your day, is where all your success begins. The habits that you form in your day, the relationships of your day, taking that seriously, right? So that's all within the Nebi Collective, where I teach about every aspect of life, right? Because I have experiences. I've been married. I have kids.
Mm-hmm.
I've been part of a community. I've built businesses. I've had
Mm-hmm.
my religious ups and downs and like realization. So I've had all that. And so it's a way for me to offer that value to the community and also just get feedback so that I can learn what people are going through. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've been isolated for a long time, man. I've been in my cave for a
Yeah,
long
yeah,
time. So
yeah.
like I'm now putting myself out there so that I can learn about where people are at and
Mm-hmm.
start providing content that's catered to them specifically. And then I
Mm-hmm.
do all the tools and everything in there and the books, everything, the resources. But like you said, I don't work that much. Because I can only give what I have, and so it's important that I always pour into me first, and then naturally everything kind of manifests.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's excellent. One of my favorite rappers, AZ, he said he had this line where he said, "Solitude certifies all moves." So you
Mm,
need that. You need to be in that cave. The
yeah,
prophet, peace and blessings be upon
peace
him,
be upon
he
him.
used to, go to that cave. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, and take
before
that
what
me
happened?
time.
Yeah,
You know what
what
I'm saying?
happened when he went in the cave? That's when revelation came.
Exactly.
That's where the vision comes, right? There's sunnah that happened before he became prophet that we forget about, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
the build up. So like, yeah, isolation is a real thing. When you start working on yourself, there's a period of isolation that comes with it. There's a period of like God has to
Yeah.
remove you from situations so you can understand who He is. That way, when you re-enter into the world, you're able to differentiate between God and
Yeah.
Satan and the people of
100%.
both.
And
Yeah,
you have to have those periods of isolation periodically just to
hundred
recharge, to
percent.
recalibrate,
Yeah,
to rebalance. You know what I mean? It's very essential. But just shifting gears here, man, we in some interesting times right now. I think the next 4 years is going to be incredible and
yeah,
comical and
yeah,
surreal, and it's going to be a lot of different things. But from
yeah,
from your perspective, man, like what do the inauguration took place yesterday. What do you think, man? What's going on? What's your
yeah,
perspective? Once you pop out of the cave, what are you looking
yeah, yeah.
at? Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, you're the expert, man. You're the guy I go to because, like you said, I be in the cave. But I give you, my initial thoughts.
Hmm.
I loved it, right? I tweeted about it. Like, it gave me goosebumps, like kind of like when he got shot or tried to, assassination, and then he did the. It's just I'm always trying to balance between optimism and skepticism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're either entering into a time of great prosperity, or
Hmm.
this is like the greatest scam on them. You know what I mean? Like this is
Hmm.
something that's like we got to be very mindful of. So I'm everything that's aligned in terms of the way the Trump era has begun and
Hmm.
and his cabinet and his team. I'm optimistic, man. I love
Hmm.
everything about it. So
Hmm.
the speech
Hmm.
was good. I mean, he was very firm about the genders and having
Hmm.
two genders and ending the
Hmm.
wars and
Hmm.
not being, all the things he's saying all the right things and he's doing all the right things, right? So I'm I'm just happy that people are feeling proud about America again, right? Like
Hmm.
that sense of like pride is being reestablished. And you see it. You see it in we talked about the Dave Chappelle comedy skit
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
how
yeah.
people are just more free. And it was like that
Hmm.
when he was in office 4 years ago, that people
Hmm.
were just more open, more honest. Like that authenticity I was missing. And so
Hmm.
there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to pack by the inauguration.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
overall, I'm happy, man. I feel good about it. Like you said, I
Hmm.
think there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. I think there's going to be a lot of highs and a lot of lows.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I'm gonna enjoy it, man.
yeah. I think that I think it comes down to what side of the coin you're on. Like you said, this is going to be a time of great prosperity or the greatest scam ever, right? And I think
Yeah,
I'm always a person that I'm big on quantum physics, right? So I believe that
same.
there's always different realities existing at one time. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And so I think it's
yeah,
both. I think it's the greatest scam ever, and I think it's
yeah.
the greatest opportunity of
Opportunity.
prosperity ever. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm
it's
big
true.
on history, right? So history is about like recognizing patterns. You see what I'm saying? Recognizing patterns. And I know from understanding American history, being a part of certain movements back in the day, that okay, I'm gonna just lay it out like this, right? So
Yeah,
Trump,
please.
Trump what made him wasn't the first time he tried to run for president. He tried to run for president in the 80s, in the 90s, I believe, a couple of
Really?
times.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know
He
he
tried
mentioned
to,
it on Oprah's show in like late '90s. He was like, okay,
yeah.
okay.
I'm not sure if he actually ran, but he's been getting at it for a while.
He's been planting the seed. Like he's
Yeah.
been, yeah.
But I think it was when Obama was cracking jokes on him about him being a birther at one of those
The dinner. It was
galas,
a,
at that
yeah,
dinner.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah,
like, nah, hey, I'm a run. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
can't let him
That,
talk to
that
me like that.
competitive spirit kicked
Right.
in. Yeah,
But it was over the issue of the birth certificate and whether it was authentic or not.
yeah.
And there's been movements in this country that you got the patriot movement, right? The patriots, and then the extreme of the patriots is the sovereign citizens movement, right? And so they were always talking about less government. This is the republic. You know, just certain buzzwords and certain concepts that I'll give you an example. I'm gonna dance around here. The Supreme Court always said that on their website. I don't know if this is there now, but I know when I was on there years ago, it said we are a republic experimenting with a democracy. So you got your Republican and your Democratic parties. So the Democratic Party was always about mob rule, big government, handouts, you know, all that type of stuff. And Republicans is all about small government, less taxation. And so when you hear "Make America Great Again," you have the people who you have some of the people saying, "Oh, when was America great? Because there was slavery, there was this, there was that." And then you have the people that were saying, "Well, it was great when it was in the era of the early 1900s, or right after the Civil War, or right after World War II." There's different periods of prosperity that happened in America.
And
Uh,
people measure great in different ways, right? Like you said,
exactly.
prosperity, equality, these are different metrics. So it's important
Right.
to know who's saying it and what they mean by it.
100%. And Trump's a businessman, of course, right? So his whole thing is about
Exactly.
when
Money.
America great
Yeah.
again is about the prosperity, the success, right?
100%. Well,
And so when I'm looking at all of these different things, I'm like, okay, I see what's emerging here. You know what I mean? So you have the people who flourished. I'll give you an example. You got two different types of black folks, right? Before integration, there was a lot of things that black folks, black Americans had to endure. But right before integration, they had their own black people had their own bus lines, they had their own communities, they had their own economy essentially. And part
yeah.
of the scheme of integration was to take that
Extract it.
economy, strip them
Yeah.
from that economy, because
Yeah.
if you got to check out a dude called Dr. Claude Anderson.
Mm.
Dr. Claude Anderson has some really good information about, and he worked with the government back in the days. So the reason I'm taking this angle is because there's the dichotomy of Trump's he's a racist, and you know
Mm.
this is that, and I would say, you know, and we were just talking about this. If you go back to certain shows, like you say, you was watching Rush Hour, and you seen the comedy of how,
Yeah.
you know, racism was kind of just like playfully in your face.
Yeah. It's open. Yeah.
If you go back to Archie Bunker in the 70s and you go back before that, you will hear them say stuff that they would never be able to say on TV today.
Yeah.
But it was funny,
Yeah.
and black and
Yeah.
white folks watched it. You know what I mean? Same in
Yeah.
good times.
Yeah.
So the country
Yeah.
was just in a space where it was just more honest about the social dynamics.
Yeah.
But
Right.
people cared about economics. Economics
Right.
is the thing that unites everybody. Nobody really cares about what the other person thinks about them. If they got money in the bank, they can buy stuff they need for the house and for their children, and there's prosperities there. Nobody really cares.
You know
But
why? Because America is capitalism. People come here because they value money. They
right,
don't value equality. They don't. These are principles that don't align with why your intention is to come to America. You value money first, right? You want to make money first. Like that's what the whole point of America is. That's the American dream. Is values tied to making money. So entrepreneurship. So when you don't have that and you only have everything else, it no longer becomes worth it. And we've seen the last 4 years, right, of what that results in. So it's important to know why and what makes America great to begin with is the creation of wealth, self-made millionaires, opportunities. If not, if that's not your goal, then you probably shouldn't be here because you're going to get the worst of everything, right? So it's important to understand that America's as a tool to make money, and that's it. Like if that's not your intention, if that's not why you're here, we are consumers, right? We've been created to become consumers. So that's just something I want to add. Like that's the value of America, which is something you mentioned, because when he says make America great again, you're right. Trump is a businessman. So it's important that people understand that and don't take it personal, right? In business, you learn quickly not to take things personally. So he's going to do things that make money for America first. And however that looks, it's not personal. You know, some people, and this is kind of where me and you go back and forth in terms of like racism, sexism. I think these are all like effects of putting money first. But in reality, people just want to make money, like, and how that looks, you know, it differs. So that's kind of what I believe.
No, 100%. I mean, see, my thing is like I flip flopped in my life from different perspectives, right? So, when I started my first company in like 18, 19. And, you know, I started off, I just couldn't get a job. So I started off just being an entrepreneur, finding a way to get money. I couldn't get a job. And then the couple jobs I did get, I got fired because I couldn't get up on time. Like, I can't be on nobody else's time. I can't do it. It's not for me. You know what I'm saying? I can't get up and punch in the clock for somebody, right? So I went on and I was successful at that. And then my success made me a Republican. It just made me, I'll be like, yo, you want to take my taxes and give it to these people who ain't doing nothing? I was out here trying to tell people, stop it. We need to do this. We need to do that. You know what I'm saying?
You know how much hard work you put in.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Running a business.
Exactly. And then that same system victimized me based on, so I started to see like, hold on, just because I'm black, y'all think y'all could do me like this, that, and the third. So then I switched to that mentality, right?
Right.
And then I saw the downside of switching to that mentality. There were benefits, but there's downsides, right? Because it's like, then I said, yo, you either get money or you help your people. And so I was like, man, I'm going to get money. So I went to go get money again, did that. Yeah. And then I got victimized again. So what I look at is, I look at things from a holistic perspective.
Right.
America, you know, historically, we can go into the details of it another day, but it comes down to, you know, it's a corporation. It's a great corporation. It's always been a business. The 13 colonies started out as companies. You know what I mean? Period. These states that we have now come from colonies, and those colonies came here for business, right? And the game of racism or any type of ism is that you and a group of people are competing with other groups of people for the resources and the money. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have that mentality, you're gonna lose.
You're losing. You gotta know what game you gotta know what game. You gotta know what game you're playing.
You gotta know what game you're playing. You have to know what game you're playing. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
yeah. I got a phone call. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you have to know what game you're playing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that became very apparent and very essential at some point. And so what I started to realize was like, yo, if you like one of the biggest things right now that's in entrepreneurship in the business space is building community, right? The reason you want to build a community is so you can create a basis for sustaining the internal revenue of the dollar and resources and benefits that a community can sustain. So if you're
There's a lot to unpack with that too, because you got a lot of game when it comes to the future, right? You build with the vision of the future in mind. You got to know where the world is going, where technology is going, where the governments are going. Because you said the business is what makes America, right? America, the government is a business. And for you to become the most successful, you got to think about where America's heading, because that's who you want to eventually do business with, right? The most successful entrepreneurs are doing business with governments. Look at Elon Musk, look at Bezos, look at Mark.
That's where you get all this money from.
That's where you get the real money, because now you're in partnership with the government. And so that's what a lot of people lose sight of.
And see,
but you talk about community.
Okay, let's go in real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, because you put me on to like the community of the ecosystem within the community that you create, right? We're seeing the era of influencers, the era of currency with who you are as a human being and the creativeness of it. We saw Trump, right? his currency now is turning into meme coin. He's cashing in on who he is. That's powerful. You got to look at what the people on top are doing, man. Like, this dude is a genius. You may not like him, but you got to respect his game business wise. And if you want to make money, start paying attention to the people that are making money. But like, go ahead. I digress, man.
No. You laid it out. You laid it out. And all I'm going to do is add another layer to that. I seen someone on TikTok. They was complaining about how there's a mandate for the federal workers to come back to the
the
job,
government. Yeah,
to come
like
work.
94%.
Yeah, no more remote, right? And then there's a freeze on federal hiring too.
Correct.
And so he was saying that, this is because what they're going to do is they're going to bring everybody back. They don't have enough buildings to house all the federal workers, so they're going to lay people off. They're going to fire people, right? And this is what you guys asked for. Y'all voted for him. And I'm just sitting there, I'm looking like, he said, because all that's going to happen is all these big corporations are going to come in and get contracts with the government to fulfill those jobs. Exactly. They want to downsize and outsource.
100%.
Right? Because the way the
100%.
government works, the government is supposed to empower the citizens. And you empower the citizens by empowering the businesses that the citizens own. You see?
Exactly.
So that those businesses make partnerships with the government. This is why when people be like complaining about, privacy and the government looking at this and that, I'm like, if people put their thinking caps on, and if you had a government,
it's rare, bro. It's rare.
Right? if you were in control and you had a government, right?
Yeah.
You mean to tell me you're going to let all these citizens just do what they want to do without no monitoring on your platforms that you built? The only way Google was able to be built is because the government, they got government contracts first. And the way the pipeline works is the universities develop the technologies through the students. They run that system for a while, and then someone either from that university or some business person invest and they privatize the technology that was made at the university level.
Bro, 100%.
And then they get the contract
you're giving
with the
people
government.
Real game right now. This is real perspective. The government is at the top, and they invest in schools so they can create people that are creating them products that can then make the government better. You know what I mean? When you look at yourself
100%.
as an employee of the government, you see it differently, bro. And the ones that accept this role and play into it are the ones that become successful. They know the game. They know 100%. What they're working towards. Like, bro, you see Mark Zuckerberg, they all work with that's part of the system.
Right.
That's the way you become successful.
The cloud service that Amazon don't make most of its money from selling e-commerce stuff. It makes most of its money from the government contracts that it got with the CIA on the cloud service.
100%, bro.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's why TikTok, right? We go into TikTok and why they're trying to ban it, right? Because that's exactly.
Well, it ain't banned no more. Let's put it like that. Zuckerberg, they done work something out where we get to that, but I think Facebook owns it on the low. They just ain't announced it yet. You see what I'm saying?
We gonna get into that, bro, because I got conspiracies on all the way the last month played out, and the way that they really are prompting up Trump to become this heroic figure, right? Because for them to ban TikTok for like a day and then bring it back and then give it all credit to Trump, you just won the youth. You just won the youth. Yeah.
Well, it's similar. It's similar to something that Reagan did, where I think he negotiated. It was some type of hostage situation, and he negotiated with Iran, I believe, or something like that, to not release the hostage, hold them until after the election.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Genius, bro. I was
politics.
Like, this dude is good. Yeah, I was like, this guy is like politics, exactly, man. It was genius.
And you know, the military calls it theater. They call it political theater.
Who's
literally
better? Who's better than Trump?
At theater, 100%.
Yeah.
So like people. So that's why I say this is the greatest scam and the greatest opportunity for prosperity, because if you're on the side of looking at it as I'm a worker, I'm a citizen, I'm not ambitious, I'm not here to just come here and conquer and take and do my thing, and if you're not with that mindset,
you're doomed.
You're done. This is the greatest scam ever for you. It's going to suck the next 4 years for you.
100%. The middle class is over. After 4 or 5 years, if you're not of the mindset you just said, you will become someone that's on universal income in 5 years.
This next 4 years is
You
the
will,
window.
yeah, it's a
Yo, I'm glad
window.
you said it. This is the
Yeah, you gonna,
window
yeah,
to get up or to be on
100%.
universal basic income.
You gonna
That's the facts.
flip this shit, bro. You gonna be.
It's true. That's the
No,
facts.
it's facts, bro. It's facts.
You know what I'm saying? That's
It's
100%.
we're not fortune tellers, man. People that we just pay attention to the trends and where the government's going because that's where it's going to go. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
everything else is an
Mm-hmm.
illusion. But like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Facts. But real quick, yo, y'all make
yeah,
sure y'all like, share, and subscribe this show. You know what I mean? Start sending this stuff out because also me and the bro got a show coming.
yeah. I'm
Pause.
excited.
We
It's
got
just a
something
taste.
called This is just you know, an intro. We got
Yeah,
we got a
a lot,
dedicated
man.
show that we're
Yeah,
going to do soon where we're just
yeah,
going in on all of these different things. You know what I mean? So stay tuned for that.
100%.
But make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Make sure y'all visit MansaMuhammad.com and make sure y'all visit NoahNuru.com. Check out what he got for offering. But listen, this next 4 years, man, this is the opportunity for people to be a part of the have and not the have nots. There was a show, they took it off, it had one season. Me and my bros always talk about this show. It was called, oh man, it was called Corporate. It was a show that was produced by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Okay,
I can't remember the name. Excellent show. They only gave us one season. It was supposed to go on
okay,
for longer, but they only
yeah.
gave it one season. That show is really going to give you the breakdown of what is to come when it comes to the future of things, because it was a show about how the United States passed corporate sovereignty, and so corporations just ran everything, and they had a red zone and a green zone, and if you was in the red
Oh,
zone,
Project Greenlight.
Project Greenlight, that's what it's called.
I think so. Okay, okay, but that's the one that came up. It's Incorporated, Project Greenlight. That's the one. Okay, there's three. Okay,
Incorporated. Yeah,
Incorporated.
Incorporated. That's the joint right there.
Uh,
That joint breaks down who's
that's
going to
the
be in the red
predictive.
zone and the green zone.
That's
You know what I'm
that
saying?
predictive programming. They
Yeah,
got
yeah,
okay.
100%.
Yeah, okay,
See,
okay.
and
I'm
that's
on
how
it.
they stay ahead of the game. They got to let you know what's going on before they actually roll it out and do it. You know what I mean? So you
Correct.
can
Yeah.
prepare. Like TV, like if you watch TV for entertainment, you're losing the value of what it's for. It's
100%, bro.
literally giving you a window of
Yeah.
into the subject that you're looking at.
What is it? Television, right? It's telling
Exactly.
you the vision of the future. And the ones that
Yeah.
are in tune are watching it, like you said, with a whole nother intent. You see it. You
Mm-hmm.
see what iRobot, you
Yeah.
see what, oh my God, bro.
They got the little robots now that look like come on, man. That look like our robot. That's what they dropping on the streets now.
Yes, bro. Yes,
You
yes,
see?
yeah, 100%,
So yeah,
100%.
man, I think that if you're somebody who is, has a mindset of scarcity mindset, um, a mindset that is not competitive, because America is for competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's no safety net
Just
here.
fearful. If you
Yeah,
just live in fear, you're not
yeah,
going to make it.
yeah. If you're
Yeah,
not
because
working on improving yourself, you're not going to
100%.
make it.
Yeah.
If you're not saying I want to be a part of the 1%,
Yeah.
you're wasting your time. You'll
Yeah.
get what you asked for, because this is the
Yeah.
opportunity in the next 4 years to be able to move yourself in a station where you don't have to be a part of the have-nots. Because, like you said, if you're not, man, you're going to have to rely on that universal basic income. You know what I mean? And then that's when you're going to have to take whatever vaccine mandates is there. You're going to have to take whatever you think the government's going to give you a perpetual check,
You're gonna have to
and
eat
not
bugs.
yeah, you're gonna have to eat bugs. That's coming down the pipe. Yep, you're gonna have to eat
Oh man,
bugs.
people think this is a joke, bro. But like, I'm laughing, but like, I know this shit is serious. This is what's happening.
Yeah,
This is not like this is real. Like, you're not gonna eat
yeah,
real meat. The real meat is
nah.
gonna be saved for the 1%. You know
Yo,
what I
it's a
mean?
show. It's a show
This
like
is gonna
that.
be Hunger Games 2.0.
Yeah, 100%. There's a
Yeah,
show. There's a show. That deals with that. Like I forget which one it is, but or a movie or something like that, and it shows like, yo, the people get the like lab grown meat. You know what I'm saying? But if you got the bread, you know what I'm saying, you get the real
yeah.
thing.
You
But
get the
if you ain't
real
got the
thing.
bread, you're gonna have to
Yeah,
get the lab grown stuff. You know what I'm saying?
100.
Which
Yeah,
people are
bro.
already eating. If you eat fast food, you're already eating lab grown stuff.
Yeah, it's
So
already easy.
don't
They've
even
already,
trip.
it's a process. They slowly, because you already have that expectation for yourself. So if you ain't
100%.
valuing yourself, and what you put into your body, then everything we're saying is going to seem good. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you gonna
Yeah.
think you got gold in your hand. You go, oh, they paying me 2,000 a month, like Universal. You're nodding your health like that. Don't sound too bad. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the mentality that you got. I don't gotta work. I can just create content and watch TV all day. Sound good to me because those are things that these people that are not gonna be successful are
Mm-hmm.
already doing. So
Mm-hmm.
now the government is gonna be in a place where AI, robotics, all your
Mm-hmm.
jobs are automated and
Mm-hmm.
95% of the workforce is gone, or the
Mm-hmm.
other 5% is being outsourced, like we're seeing in India,
Mm-hmm.
like what I
Mm-hmm.
did in the Philippines, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's just no reason. It doesn't make good business sense to give jobs to people in America who aren't as good. You know what I mean? Who
Mm-hmm.
aren't just because you want it. You know what I mean? That entitlement is just not
Mm-hmm.
there. It's not. It doesn't make good business dealing. So I think you're going to see more of that, especially with Trump. You know, even though on his inauguration he spoke about something I wanted to ask you about. He spoke about bringing. He spoke about removing the Green New Deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a little confused. Like, what do you think is behind that? Because that's a driving force of innovation, right? That's where
Mm-hmm.
technology, Elon. So what is your thoughts behind that?
Well, the thing about that is the green technology. Nobody's going to stop the green tech revolution. You know, it's just that Trump is stopping it from being forced because the way the liberal agenda was to enforce it was they was like carbon tax, carbon
Mm,
credits. I mean, I don't really think that's going anywhere either.
mm,
I think what Trump did was stem the tide on it, slow it down. But it's going to go there eventually. You know what I'm
Slow.
saying?
Okay, that makes
But
sense. So you're saying he
yeah,
just did that to appeal to like, because a lot of it is bringing manufactured work to like vehicles and
yeah,
so he's just okay, because that's like the bread and butter of
because
Americans, right? Like the car or
yeah,
whatever, like automobile
yeah,
industry. Okay, but in
because
reality, it's
because you
still
got to think
moving.
about it.
Okay, that
The
makes sense.
CEO of
See,
Ford and General Motors, they went to China, right? And they went to see some of the plants, the car manufacturing plants, the factories, and they were blown away. They said they're leagues ahead of anything we got.
bro, we
And
see the
so they came
UFOs.
back and lobbied, right? They came back and lobbied for Trump and the
Yeah,
government to ban the Chinese electric vehicles because they're not running off with a little plug-in. Let's plug in the joint. They got little fuel cell joint, battery joints
yeah.
that you're replacing. And the thing about energy, energy is the main cause and driver of everything. And right now, the reason Trump stemmed the tides on that is what I think is that he wants to use all of the reserves of oil and gas that is here in America to fuel that next phase of things,
Mm,
as opposed to the way the liberals or the Democrats sought to do it. Because you can't stop the technology. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The
yeah,
gas
yeah,
cars
yeah,
are not as efficient. I mean, you can even grow hemp. Like people haven't even looked into all of
yeah.
the things like, for instance, petroleum produces 6,000 byproducts, right? That means that
Mm,
all of these plastics with those forever chemicals in it, all of these different things that's produced from petroleum, petroleum only makes 6,000 byproducts. Hemp makes over 30,000 byproducts. Stuff like
mm,
polyester, these clothes, leggings, that's made from a residue of byproducts of oil, petroleum. You see what I'm saying? So, but hemp can do 30,000 byproducts. And the first car that Henry Ford made was made from hemp and it ran on hemp oil. You see? So the thing about it is, I don't think that it slows the technology down because I think that's going to keep growing. It's just that it
yeah,
gives America or the US the opportunity to kind of supercharge us into that phase
yeah,
by
yeah,
tapping
yeah,
into all of the energy that's here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And
Wow, that's good, bro. That's why you my
yeah.
guy. That's why
Yeah,
you
no,
gotta
no, no,
listen
no,
to
no.
Mansa, bro. 'Cause
No, 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 no.
that's very valid.
You
Okay,
know,
I was
I,
curious about that.
I mean, one thing that I try to do is, I always try to like, you always gotta have your finger on the pulse and what's next. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Because
Yeah,
even if you
yeah.
don't catch the present, I'm gonna catch this one or I can catch that one. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Correct.
But it's just always about being prepared. You know what I mean? So I think
So
that's
how
what
does
it's
that
about.
work? Tell me your thought process. I think that's important. Like, what is it that you're thinking? What information do you look into? I know your social media is packed with just information. I know you
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
newsletter coming out. I mean, all of
Mm-hmm.
that is just what I look at because you focus on, you don't focus on smokes and mirrors. You
No,
focus
no,
on
no, yeah.
behind the curtain.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
your
yeah.
story is just me downloading what's really happening in the world,
Right.
right? So like,
Right.
what is your thought process? How are you able to get to that point?
Well, I'll take it. I'll take it to like this dude, John Hope Bryant. He has a famous quote. He says, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, right? So yeah. So I like being at the table, and what's at the table is looking at the stuff that the big guys is talking about. If you're tapped
Mm,
into the conversation that the billionaires are having, Kanye West years ago came on Breakfast Club and said, if you're not a billionaire, you don't matter.
don't matter.
Chamath, this Indian, I think
Shema
he's
from all,
Indian.
yeah, from not all the smoke. I was gonna say all the
Yeah,
smoke.
yeah,
From his podcast, yeah. Shema, he was actually at the inauguration. Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. He had a statement at some type of conference he was at, and he was saying, "Yo, you think these people at the table that are billionaires, they don't care about you. They don't care
no,
about what you think. They don't care about what you want. They're at the
yeah,
table. They have the money. They have the power, and they're going to
correct,
do what they want to do. The only
yeah,
way you can be assured that your vision is going to matter is if you're at that table."
one
And
hundred
if you're
percent,
a
bro.
billionaire at the table. So my thing is that I got tired of trying to convince the people around me and people who, just trying to convince people like, yo, this is what it
Who
is.
are
This is what it is.
content being on the menu? Let's
Who
put
are
it that
content
way.
being on the menu. And I
Yeah,
said, nah, I
because
just got to be at the
for
table.
you to get to that point, and me as well, you had to be on the menu and experience being on the menu to
Yeah,
realize I never want to be on the menu again. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like that's where the experience serves you best. Of like, I'm on the menu.
100%.
I accepted that I was on the
Yeah,
menu, and I didn't
yeah,
like it, and I'll never
right.
get back to the yeah. So and then Chamath
100%.
for those watching the All In podcast. I mean, that's an incredible podcast of
Yeah,
wealthy billionaires having conversations. So it gives you a
right,
sneak peek into their discussion and what they're talking about. So if you
right,
don't know what they're talking about, you should know and read and research because this is what a lot of it is predicated on and where we're
right.
going as a society, as a world, really.
100%. And
Yeah,
I think that if you're an entrepreneur and you've been an entrepreneur for the majority of your life, or you had some type of success, you see things at the higher levels than as opposed to at the lower levels. So you're always constantly thinking about, how do I get to the next phase of my journey, my stage, my growth. And so I like to stay tapped into the things that are cutting edge, the things that are on the
yeah,
horizon. And by
yeah,
doing that, you're able to kind of see like, okay, this is where things is going. So this is where I need to be, or this is how I need to
yeah,
play. And
yeah,
once you're comfortable with yourself and you really tap into the creative genius that Allah has given all of us,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you stop reacting to things and you start imagining, you start creating, you start saying,
yeah.
okay, well, what do I want to do? What impact do I want to have? You know what I mean? This is why this is called the impact zone. This is only for people who are making impact and who want to have an impact. You see what I'm saying? If you're not concerned with having an impact, you like, yo, I just want to get a little bit
I
and
want to work
be
my nine
okay.
to five and just
Yeah,
watch
then
Netflix.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
like if I,
powerful. Yeah, because
yeah,
you're what you're saying is because everyone's unique. Everyone has potential for impact, right? And
yes,
so when you understand where the future is going and you know deeply who you are, it becomes an entitlement of like, oh, this is where I see myself in the future. I'm part of this vision, and this is how I'm going to bring it to life. This is what I'm gonna do to play my role in bringing this vision to fruition, right? For me and my community. So like that's powerful, man. And
no.
that's real.
1,000%. Couldn't have said it any better. And so again, when like you brought up like my stream on social media, so
Yeah, that's powerful.
other
Yeah.
people's streams, like you could tell what people are looking at based on
Yeah,
what they're posting.
story. Yeah,
Everything I'm posting is hard hitting 20, 30, 20, and it's
yeah,
because
yeah,
I had to seek out like, okay, what's going on in this space? What's going on in that space? And I'm gonna just let
yeah,
y'all know AI,
yeah,
quantum computing,
yeah,
blockchain, Web3
yeah.
technology, climate tech,
Robotics.
and energy and robotics. You know what I'm saying? Those are the
Yeah,
6 things that if you're not tapped into that, then you're just lost. You have
yeah,
to have some type of interest in those things, especially if you're talking about starting a business. Don't
yeah,
if you're talking
yeah,
about, yo, I want to
yeah.
start a little mom and pop joint, you're too late. Private equity is scooping all that up.
They buying all that.
You
Yeah,
might as well do lead generation for the private equity
yeah.
firms. That's all
Yeah.
gone. That's done.
If you're not building a business that's going to be fruitful in 10 years, not tomorrow, not a year, 10 years from now, right? Like these businesses, Elon Musk, Amazon, they worked on this because they knew the future. Everything
Right.
that we're seeing them and we're like, oh, they got lucky. Oh, they knew. They're probably
Right.
like, I didn't know it was gonna be this good. And that's what happens when
Right.
you get to the top. You're like, oh, this got
Right.
better than I thought. But they
100%.
knew internet, technology, this is where it's going. This is
Right.
where I want to put myself in. And then they started small. You start with
Right.
a book website, and then next thing you know, right? So it's like when you see the future, that's when you become a real entrepreneur because you
100%.
utilize all the tools to create something that's going to benefit people in the long run. And entrepreneurship is all about creating value. And the only way you can create value is by knowing what's going on around you. That's where you
1000%.
become valuable to people. And there's no better entity to become valuable to than a government. I mean, that's just what it
100%.
is.
And see that's the other thing. Like I saw that when I went to the Dubai Expo in 2021, right? But it's called the Dubai Expo 2020. That was because COVID happened, so they had to push it back a year. And I was telling my friend this the other day, and he was like, "Man, you always bring that up." I'm like, "Yo, you got to understand why it's important." What I saw, and I've been trying to do it for years. I just didn't get around to it, but I'm trying to piece all the stuff I saw together to put it out there for the people, because what I saw, I said, oh, what they're feeding on the news, these people are cooked. It's done. Everybody's on some future stuff, bro. Everybody's trying to maximize their tourism. Number one, all of the countries that are third world countries, they want to maximize tourism, and they want to maximize trade, and they want to boost technology. All of the countries that are first world countries, they're looking at space. India, China, US, and Russia, all on space. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to mine the resources, get the resources that's out there. You know what I'm saying? So the whole point is what I saw. I saw a joint there, man, with China had the whole.
Hold on, it's so funny because we had this conversation, and you telling me, at least I had an idea, but it's almost like you're time traveling.
Yeah, yo.
Like when we was having this conversation, I was like, yo, this dude time travel. Like he saw the future of America. Because you saw the 15-minute cities. You saw how all of that is going to be. It was almost like a messenger, right? When they get revelation, and they come back to they come back to their people. They're like, yo, I swear, this is what's
going on. This is what we need to be on. Yo, no, 100%. It was. And I'm there myself. I'm like, yo, I can't believe I'm here by myself. Like, this is crazy. What do I do with all this? It was so impactful. It was so impactful, bro. When I got back, I said everything I thought I wanted to do, every business I thought, I had to throw it out the window. I had to throw it out the window. I had to start 100%. From scratch. I had to say, 100%. Nah, this is, it took me 4 years to recover to say like, yo, this is it. You know what I'm saying? So, the thing is, man, is that like, yo, people got to really be in tune with the opportunity that's going to exist in 4 years, in this next 4 years. Yeah, it's going to, if you're big on social justice and, political correctness and hurting people's feelings, this is not the era for you. It's done. It's quiet for you.
Stay on Twitter, bro. Like, you're done. This is going to be impact.
It's not even a space for you over there on X
no more. Impact is going to be, bro. This is where, you're right. Impact is a great name. Yeah, the more I think about it. This is really where impact is going to be front and center, man.
Front and center.
Because if you're not impactful, they're not even going to pay. You're not even.
You don't matter.
You're not. You don't matter, bro. Yeah.
Take your universal basic income.
Yeah, you out.
Take the universal basic income. Take your bugs. You know what I'm saying?
Put on the VR. Put on the
VR. Ready Player One. You cook. It's over. It's quiet for you.
This world is for those that are making impact. You're gonna create your own world in VR, video games. Man. You're done. You're out.
That's a fact.
You're out of the game.
That's a fact. So we're gonna wrap up. You know what I'm saying? It's an excellent show, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you coming on the show. Yeah. So once again, y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Visit noahnuru.com. That's NOAHNURU.com. Y'all see it at the bottom of the screen. And make sure y'all visit MansaMuhammad.com. We're going to lock in and we're going to keep this thing rolling, man. So I appreciate y'all.
You, man.
Salute, my brother.
This platform, man. Thank you for
it's
everything.
all good, my brother. All right, peace.